The Calgary Stampede is one of Canada's largest festivals and one of the world's biggest rodeos. GMC Canada recently hosted a special trip for media and influencers on how to experience the Stampede like a pro. For first-time Stampeders like me, it was a great opportunity to learn the ropes through GMC Canada, proud sponsor and partner of the Stampede for over 30 years and maker of professional-grade trucks, including the official vehicles of the event. Here's a recap of my adventure, including some tips on maximizing your experience at the greatest outdoor show on earth. Day 1. Dress for the occasion. From the moment I got on the plane in Toronto, you could totally tell who was going to the Stampede because they are in full Western attire. Many of us had never been to the Stampede before, so our first stop was to Lamley's Western Wear and Tack, the official Western wear supplier of the event, where the walls are lined with everything you need to look Stampede ready. Their friendly and knowledgeable store associates gave us tips on 2 key pieces. 1. A proper fitting hat, which I learned is very important. The hat should feel snug around your head. In fact, the better quality ones are sized to 1/8 of an inch. 2. A comfortable pair of boots, which is totally possible. All of my initial research said that it would take days to break in the boots, but I had no issues with wearing the ones recommended to me for the next 4 days. My personal tip would be to bring over the ankle socks and maybe wearing a double pair for the first day or so. We were all looking pretty sharp after our Western Makeover at Lamley's, and to celebrate, we crossed the street over to the Guild and enjoyed amazing cocktails and our first Calgarian meal of the trip. Day 2. Ranch Day. What better way to break in our Western outfit than by spending a day on a ranch? We each partnered up, chose a GMC vehicle, and hit the road. I've always been a fan of trucks, so it was a blast to drive a pickup truck through the city, but especially on country roads and on an actual ranch. We visited OH Ranch, an 8,000-acre, 130-year-old working ranch where we got special access to learn a bit about Alberta's agricultural roots, cattle grazing, and what it means to be a rancher. After a delicious lunch, a day on the ranch is not complete without some horseback riding. Our group saddled up and enjoyed a mellow scenic ride through the beautiful, hilly Longview countryside. It was really cool to be spending time at a historic ranch that was founded back in the 1880s and is now dedicated to protecting native grasslands and celebrating the significant ranching history of the area. And that well-fitted hat meant that it didn't get blown away while we were riding high up on those rolly hills. The visit to OH Ranch was a unique learning opportunity and gave a different perspective of the Stampede. We also got a sneak preview of their 2019 Sierra Denali, which features an innovative tailgate and other neat features like a rear camera built right into the rear mirror. That night, some of us who still had energy after our day on the ranch headed over to the Stampede grounds to get a sneak preview of the Stampede nightlife. Day 3, the big day to Stampede like a pro. There is no better way to officially kick off the Stampede than by checking out the parade right up and early. Our group sat in the Friends of the Parade area where there were free snacks and drinks. The energy of the 10-day event could be felt through the enthusiasm of the 12 marching bands, 32 floats, and the 4,000 plus people who were part of the parade. We then made our way to the Stampede grounds, and it was a packed day of activities. We toured the fairgrounds with the Stampede volunteer. We learned about truck wagon racing and met a real chuck wagon driver who talked about how he took care of his horses and the prep involved for the big day. For lunch, there was no shortage of barbecued meats, deep fried stuff, weird stuff, and other typical outdoor festival food stuff like mini donuts, but I decided to go on a search for cotton candy burritos stuffed with cookie dough. After lunch, we checked out the afternoon rodeo, which had an amazing opening performance complete with daytime fireworks, flying cowboys, followed by more performances and the events such as bareback riding, tie-down roping, barrel racing, saddle bronc, bull riding, and steer wrestling. If you're totally new to rodeo events, they were all explained at the beginning of each event, so you got an idea of what was going on and how the athletes were judged. At the GMC tent, there was a fun opportunity to race a truck wagon. Oh, the power of virtual reality. This was a lot of fun considering after, we would be watching the real thing. And then we went to the evening rodeo, which had some real chuck wagon races. As a first-time Stampeder, it was interesting to see all the different events and to witness the athleticism of the riders. What I found totally unexpected and impressive was the out-of-this-world evening performance. There were crowds of dancers, aerial musicians, acrobatic roller skaters, a dramatic illusionist, comedians, and the most spectacular display of fireworks I've ever seen. It was so over the top. And this was just the first day of the Stampede. I could not have asked for a better way to experience the Calgary Stampede for the first time. A big thank you to GMC Canada for showing us how to stampede like a pro. This was the 106th annual Calgary Stampede, and I'm not surprised that this event brings in over 1.2 million visitors each year. Even if you're not a fan of country music, the Western culture, or a rodeo enthusiast, there are still plenty of activities, shows, and attractions to check out. I had a blast, and in fact, I got pretty attached to my Stampede souvenirs. What are your tips and recommendations for checking out the greatest outdoor show on earth? Yahoo!